Dear right-click enjoyers, take a day off. This SGX build turns close-range fights into point and delete without ever touching ADS, and it doesn't melt your aim when you do. If your tap-fire game's on point, you can dome slow recons at 90 meters with this. I have. We're like Napster and cease and desists, except in this case we're stacking hipfire instead of legal bills. Now, if your first instinct is to scope up at handshake distance, well, consider this your intervention. I got two slightly different variants for you, one with a bit more versatility and one that's full send. Let's make the SGX illegal in some hallways, shall we? So we're going to start off with the build that's full send. Now, this does require you get to mastery level 33. Working our way around, let's go clockwise. First up, we've got the 50 milliwatt green laser for the moderate improvement to hipfire. Iron sights, just because, well, I think the sight picture on the SGX is fine. And as I said earlier, it works even at range provided you can tap fire. Moving along, we're using standard ammo. I mean, yes, you could make the argument to move up to the hollow points for the 1.5x headshot multiplier, but if we're going to be hipfiring, you're aiming center mass. Moving on, we're taking the 36 round mag. If you wanted to, you could go for the 30 fast. I appreciate the extra 6 bullets. Up next, we got the hand stop. Now, this doesn't provide you any specific stats like reduced recoil, the way the rest of the grips do. However, it does enable you to fire your weapon while sprinting. So, crack open a white monster and pretend you're tween after the second Adderall of the day. Moving along, picking up the short barrel for improved hipfire accuracy and faster ADS when you decide you want to actually aim. The reduced projectile velocity hurts at range, but you're basically barrel stuffing this thing anyway, so... And coming up last, we're taking the CQB suppressor, just to deal with that pesky in-world and minimap spotting. This one also requires a pretty high mastery level, comparatively speaking, to unlock. If you wanted to, you could take either the flash hider or deal with a little bit less hipfire accuracy by taking the weird angular suppressor. Now, if you wanted to turn this into the more versatility-based build, we would swap out the hand stop for the flashlight. So the flashlight's kind of weird. It says it provides minor improvement to hipfire recovery and blinds enemy soldiers, blah, 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 right? So the nifty thing about the flashlight is rather than change your base hipfire, which you can already see is pretty silly, right? What it does is prevent a grip of extra bloom for hipfire. So check it out. We're just going to spam right here, and that's about as far as our crosshair gets, right? So let's go back to the menu, pull this up. We'll go ahead and pull the light off. So same thing, walk up, take a look at how much the crosshair blooms. It's not much more, but it is noticeable. Now, to sort of demonstrate the overall efficacy here, we'll put the light back on, go back to the firing range, hip fire over to a guy, aim slightly higher than center mass. Done. Now we'll take it out to 20 meters, right? Slightly above center mass, point and click. You are a little bit at the mercy of RNG. I wouldn't try to hip fire much further than this, but you could probably tap fire it out to about 30. It works. Just for once more, we'll do the 20 meter. See? There's a little bit of variation just because of the RNG, but anything up to about here, you just point and delete. Generally, anything much further than that, you just swap to, point, hold down the trigger, fight the recoil a little bit, and you're good. So let's go all the way out to this guy, right? So even on a pure hipfire build, you manage your recoil, you're still going to be dropping people pretty quickly. Especially if you can weave some headshots in. Yes, the damage drop-off is pretty bad that far out, but it works. Yes, there are other SMGs that kill slightly faster. Looking at you in particular, SCW-10, you're kind of nuts. But what the SGX has is consistency. Especially since it's the first SMG that you use, you're probably going to be pretty far along in leveling up the mastery of this one before you start branching out into these others. So, you might as well take it just a little bit further and turn it into an absolute monster. Now, I go back and forth with the versions I use. In terms of how I prefer to play, I like the one with the flashlight a little bit better, just because I find that if I'm sprinting around the map, about the only thing I'm hastening is my trip to the respawn screen. Your mileage may vary. Anyway, there's a couple different ways you can kit out a predominantly hipfire SGX that will absolutely wreck people at 20 meters or less. So get after it, enjoy, make some hallway campers' days better. I'm going to leave you with a few more clips that I've been collecting over the past few days. Let me know what weapon you want to see next. I know a good chunk of my normal audience is pretty new to shooters, so I figure starting off with things like basic builds, especially for new player weapons, will probably do people a solid and get them started off on the right foot instead of needing to learn by pain. Well, at least not excessive amounts of pain. I've been Bald Squid. I'll see y'all next time.